So here are some of the best suppliers that you can use for dropshipping coming into 2023. Now the suppliers that I'm showing you today, this is going to be for shipping to the US, but also worldwide. We're going to go over the pros and the cons of each and just what to look out for, depending on what sort of level you are at as a dropshipper. So we're going to get straight into it here. The first one that I've got here for you is USA Drop. And this is a supply that I found quite well, not too long ago, actually. And this, I would say, and again, we'll go through the pros and cons, great supplier to dropship if you are selling to the US. Okay, so the thing about USA Drop is that they have quite a decent product selection. The pricing is quite good, and the shipping is really, really good for the US. Okay, so what I'll do, like I said, I'm going to show each supplier, and then afterwards I'll go through the pros and cons and who I think the supplier is best for, depending on what level of dropshipping you're at. And I'm going to be using this humidifier as a sort of reference to what the supplier is like. So we've got basically the same product or a similar product for each supplier. And let's just say we're looking to sell this product. These are the things to look out for. So USA Drop, again, prices are quite decent. Okay, I personally haven't used USA Drop myself. I've used majority of these other suppliers, but I haven't used USA Drop just yet. Okay, so one thing to note with USA Drop is that you have really good shipping for USA. Okay, 5 to 8 days for USA, and they use USPS. Okay, they have one-on-one support team, product sourcing service. So USA Drop overall, I would say, is good for if you're shipping to the US, but we'll go through the pros and cons, because USA Drop is, like I said, is one that I've found only recently. Okay, so one thing to note as well, most of these suppliers have a free plan available. Okay, so a lot of these you're going to have to pay if you want the better features. If you want the features, say if you're selling consistently each day, each week, each month, you're going to have to pay for their service. But to get started, most of these suppliers have free options available, free plans available. So USA Drops, the pros, in my opinion, okay, you can get as quick as 2 to 5 day shipping in the US because they have 2 warehouses in the US, which only thing to note with that is that they don't have as many products as they do if you're shipping worldwide. So the products that they stock in the US warehouse with the 2 to 5 day shipping, they don't have as much of a selection. Okay, you can get, like they said here, 5 to 8 days. You just have to really keep in mind that there's usually like a 1 to 3 day processing time of your orders as well. So keep that in mind. Now, 8 to 15 day shipping outside the US, I actually was looking around. I couldn't find it on their website, but I found that they have 8 to 15 day shipping outside the US from a Reddit forum, because I had to do my research on it. I'll post that somewhere here, just to keep in mind if you want to ship outside the US. So the shipping outside US is actually quite good. Okay, cheap product costs as well. Another one is you can work closely with an agent. So you can actually, basically when you start dropshipping, have an agent that shares things like order tracking info. So once you buy, or once you say someone orders through your store and you buy the product and it gets shipped out, the agent will get in contact with you. I'm guessing they'll have a messaging system on the website, or they'll email you with the tracking code. You can give that to your customer through your store as well. It's also said to be a higher quality of product. Okay, so that's one thing to note. If you're using something like AliExpress, the product quality is not going to be that great, but USA Drop is said to have higher quality products. The cons, from what I can see here, there's a smaller product selection, although you can source products, so they do have a sourcing option. So that is one thing to note. If you can't find a product on their website, you can also get in contact with, say, the agent that you're working with, and you may be able to source that product, say, from AliExpress, and they may be able to get it at a cheaper price for you. So that's another good thing that they can do. But starting off with, I do have a smaller product selection as opposed to something like some of these other suppliers that we'll be looking at. There also may be a language barrier with the agent. With that screenshot that I had there, the person that was using USA Drop said that there's a language barrier. Okay, and there's also no branding options from what I can see on their website. Okay, they might have set it down here. Brand building, every business is branded branding, even if you're opting to use USA, makes it easier by handling product branding services, including branding packages. Okay, so they do. So I'm going to get rid of that. So they do have branding options. So we'll put that in the pros. Okay, so branding options available. There we go. Okay, like I said, I haven't used USA Drop myself. So this is just something to know. So for me, I'd recommend USA Drop for beginner to intermediate dropshippers, especially if you're shipping to the US. You can really take advantage of that, because the big thing is when you're using suppliers like AliExpress, the shipping is just not that great. Okay, and we'll get into that in a second as well. So that's the first one, USA Drop. Now the second one that we'll be looking at is Zendrop. So with Zendrop, this supplier is the one that I've been using a lot as of recent on the current store that I'm using. I use Zendrop. I just like the whole layout of Zendrop. I like how Zendrop works. I like the interface. Okay, the pricing's quite good as well. So this is the pricing. We'll look over the quick pricing of this product that we're looking at, the air humidifier. And this is the pricing that it would be. This is in USD, of course. But let's just say we wanted to sell the white one here. So the product cost is $382 USD. And then the shipping, if we go back, so it's $382 plus the international shipping 10 to 15 days is $7. Then USA is $5.50, 10 to 15 days. Now they have express shipping, but it says here, due to stricter shipping inspections, express shipping has consistently proven to be a slower channel than regular shipping. So they don't actually have USA shipping. I don't think they're allowing you to do it. I think they are if you have a higher plan with them, if you're paying more with them, but they just recommend regular shipping. Okay, so that's one thing to note. So the product cost all up would be $10 to $11 USD if you're shipping internationally, a bit lower if you're shipping to the US. So Zendrop is another one. So we'll go through some of the pros and cons of this. And again, I have used Zendrop, so I know a little bit more about it. Okay, so with Zendrop, the pros, in my opinion, it's 10 to 15 day shipping worldwide. The only thing is that that's not including the 2 to 3 day processing time as well. So you've got to factor in, it might take closer to 20 days if you're factoring in processing, especially if you are starting with Zendrop for the first time, which I'll get into in a second. They have a big product selection as well. Very easy to use, very easy. You just download the Zendrop app and you just connect it to your store. Same with USA Drop as well. You just download the Shopify app, connect to your store. Very easy to import products. There's branding options available, as you can see here. Branding, you've got bundles as well. Okay, you can import products from AliExpress. And then there also is inventory storage options coming, which is great. So if you are selling quite a lot and you know that you're going to be getting, say, 50 orders in a week, you can pre-purchase those 50 orders, I'd say, and use their inventory. Now, it's not open just yet, but that is coming. That is another big thing that dropshippers face, is just the long shipping times. And if you're using a terrible quality supplier, it can hurt your business in the long run. So that's great as well. I'd say they have the facilities needed for beginners. They've got everything there to really grow your dropshipping business, especially when it comes to branding. So with branding, they can do things like, it's not so much necessarily like custom packaging or anything. Branding's more like they'll put in a branded sort of slip that they put into the packaging for you. So it's like when people open up the product, they have a slip that will have your brand name on it, maybe a thank you card or something like that. Really simple stuff, but it can help with brand integrity as well. The cons with Zendrop is that first orders take longer to process. Okay, they will tell you this when importing a product. So let's just say your first maybe 5 orders, maybe 10 orders, when you're first getting started, the processing time for that is going to be longer. It's going to be like 4 to 5 days. So just keep that in mind. Okay, it might take a bit longer to process the order. So that's just one thing to note. There's also currently no express shipping option like what we spoke about here, what we were talking about. There's no express shipping, okay? There used to be, and it used to be quite good, especially to the US, okay? I think they only offer US branded shipping, US express shipping, but they don't have it right now, so that is something to note. So I'd recommend Zendrop for beginner to intermediate level dropshippers. I think it's great to use. I think you can skip the whole AliExpress thing. We will be talking about AliExpress, but you can skip that if you want and go straight to Zendrop. I think it's great for beginner to intermediate dropshippers, in my opinion. So the next one we're going to be looking at is CJ Dropshipping. CJ Dropshipping, really just a quick rundown. Great product selection, massive product selection. Pricing can be really good. Okay, I don't think the pricing is as good as AliExpress, but in saying that, I think some of the products are a little bit higher quality as well. So let's just say if we were looking to sell this humidifier again, they have, and we'll be talking about this as well, they have Chinese warehouses, they also have US warehouses as well, which offer a quicker shipping time. They have a lot of different shipping methods as well. So let's just say if we were shipping to the US, you can choose where you're shipping to, just to get some quotes for shipping, pricing and times. They have a lot of different sort of shipping methods here that you can look for. Obviously, as you get to the faster shipping times, the price goes up quite a bit. So we're going from anywhere from about total shipping cost of $8 to $9 all the way up to, we're looking at, not sure why this one's so high, but we're say looking at $12 to $13 for faster shipping. So one thing to note with this is that even though the prices are quite good, if you wanted that faster shipping time, the price adds up. Okay, so let's just say we wanted to sell this battery operated, okay, or let's say we wanted to sell the USB charged one, shipping method. Let's say we wanted to go for the faster shipping time, 5 to 11 days. Okay, so shipping fee. Now this is going directly to the 20 to 30 days. So one thing to note is that some of these products might not have this shipping time, the 5 to 11 days. So let's just see if we have the, okay, what are we on now? 20 to 30 day. Let's see if they have the 8 to 18 day. Okay, and if they do, it will allow you to choose this option. If they don't, it won't be highlighted here. But you need to look at the shipping fee and the total dropshipping price. So this looks great. Okay, the $7.40, but this is the total dropshipping price in USD. That's one thing to note. And then the processing time obviously is 1 to 3 days. So you got to factor this in with the cost of the product, what you're going to be charging as well. With all these suppliers, you need to factor that in. Okay, so in my opinion, with CJ Dropshipping, okay, the pros for CJ Dropshipping, massive product selection. There's many different shipping options available, like what we just saw. US warehouses are available for faster shipping as well. Only thing to note, so you can get 3 to 7 day shipping in US. Okay, you can check this out for yourself on their website. Only thing to note is it's the same with USA Drop. The US warehouse availability of products is a lot smaller, so you might not have those air humidifiers in the US warehouse. So that's one thing to note. It's also very easy to use. Okay. Then the cons I can say for this is that pricing isn't as good as it used to be. Still great, but it used to be a little bit cheaper. Okay, I'd say maybe like a year or two ago. It was a little bit cheaper, but that's just with anything with Chinese suppliers. You can see the pricing has slightly gone up over the past couple of years. So that's just like with anything when it comes to Chinese suppliers, in my opinion. And there's also no option for branding. What I could see, again, I've used CJ Dropshipping before, not bad. I'd recommend it for beginner dropshippers because it's sort of like, almost like goes hand in hand with AliExpress. I'd say it's maybe a step up in terms of product quality, in terms of just quality, supplier quality in general. I'd say they're a little bit more reliable than AliExpress suppliers, but I'd still recommend it for beginners. Very, very easy to use. Again, you just download the CJ Dropshipping app. Very simple to use. So next one I want to look at, this is moving more into if you want to ship products out yourself. Okay, if you want to store the products at your house and you can ship them yourself. I've done this with my dropshipping stores. It allows you to do faster shipping. Okay, it allows you to really delve into, I guess, different options. Okay, you can have your own custom packaging if you wanted. You could have, you can sort of bag it up and ship it how you want. Okay, if you're shipping to more local areas, so if I'm shipping in Australia, I can get a lot faster shipping since I live here. There's just different options. Okay, so what I'd recommend for this is to use either Amazon or eBay. And the reason is, I just want to show you, I'm on the US site for Amazon right now, but let's just say we wanted to ship this out. If I was on the Amazon AU website, I would have like 1 to 2 day shipping for this product. And the price is so cheap. So one thing I've noticed with suppliers these days, which can really be beneficial to you, even though you're going to be double handling, which I'll get into in a second with the cons of this, even though you're double handling, which means that you'll need to get the product shipped to your house first and then you ship the product, a lot of the time it's quicker and cheaper for you to have this shipped out to your place, get it in 1 to 2 days, and then ship it. Say if I'm selling in Australia, or if you're in the US and you're shipping in the US, it's easier for you to get it shipped from Amazon and then bag it up yourself and ship it to the customer. It's cheaper and quicker for you to do that than, say, use AliExpress. Because instead of it taking 20 days, you're taking, say, okay, you buy it, it's to your house in a day or two, and then it takes you 4 or 5 days to ship it to the customer. That's like within a week. If you ship it same day as soon as you get it, it's a lot quicker and a lot of the time cheaper as well. Sometimes the shipping can ramp up in costs, but it's the same with eBay as well. Okay, this is like the cheapest one I could find for in Australia with Aussie shipping. Okay, but let's just say if there was another seller here that had it for the same price here, $12. Okay, I would go for these if you wanted it from eBay, because you look at the shipping, 15th of December to 20th of December. So it's 12th of December as I'm filming this. Might take about a week to get here. Again, I'd even just use Amazon in this case. Really cheap. Get it shipped to your house, ship it out yourself. Okay. So the things I want to mention with Amazon and eBay, the pros: you've got a massive product selection, you've got cheap prices, fast shipping, you can brand if you want to as well. The only cons, again, is that double handling is required most of the time. So you're going to have to, say if you wanted to buy like a bulk amount from Amazon or eBay, you're going to have to get them shipped to your place or wherever it is you want, and then you're going to have to pay for the shipping again to ship them out, each order to each customer. And what I found is that there's not many options to integrate into your store. So you're going to have to print out the packing slip yourself, print out the shipping labels yourself, and do the packaging up yourself. There's not really many sort of integration apps where you can just do everything automatically. I think there might be one for eBay, depending on what shipping carrier you're using. I haven't really seen many for Amazon. So that's just one thing to note. So I'd recommend Amazon and eBay if you are testing products and shipping orders out yourself, only if it's profitable. So you've got to factor in the double handling. So how much it's going to cost for all your products to get to you, and then how much it's going to cost to ship out each order, depending on where you're shipping to. I wouldn't necessarily do this if you're shipping internationally unless it is profitable. Unless you want to, say, store the items yourself at your own place, you can do that as well. But they're the only things to mention with Amazon and eBay. I've done it myself. I've ordered a bulk amount from eBay and shipped them out myself, and it's been cheaper and a lot faster to have the stock here than doing it from, say, somewhere like AliExpress. So next one we've got is DSs, and if you don't know who DSs are, they're basically Oberlo. And if you don't know who Oberlo is, that was the app that you use to basically connect your AliExpress products directly to your store. DS has brought out Oberlo, and now this is the app that you use to connect all your AliExpress suppliers. This is if you want to dropship from AliExpress, DSs is the way to go. Very easy to use, very easy to integrate. So as you can see here, I've been using DSs, okay? I've more so moved over to Zendrop as of recent, but I used to use DSs a lot. They weren't too bad, okay? Shipping wasn't too bad, but a few things that I want to mention before you go ahead and use DSs. So again, let's just say we want to look for an air purifier, and I've looked at selling this one here. Let's say if you want to look at selling this one, once you click on this, it opens up the AliExpress page, okay, and then you've got the price here. Now AUD is $9.78 with free shipping, okay, for this particular air purifier. I'm guessing this is a small USB one. One thing to note, or a couple of things to note, I'll go through this in the pros and cons, but just off the top of my head, the product quality is okay, but the shipping is just terrible, especially if you're selling in Q4, which if you're selling in Q4 for e-com space, for e-com stores, that's like the most important time. And if you can't get quick shipping, like a lot of customers want their product before Christmas, if you can't offer that, then you lose out on a lot of money and just a lot of opportunity for your store in general. So I'm looking here, and it's almost a month for shipping. It's just under a month. It's like 35 days or so. This is how long it's going to take to get this in to the US. Now, some suppliers offer USPS, but again, it's harder to find in Q4, and that's where it's needed the most, just because there's such a big sort of influx of people buying from AliExpress and dropshipping from AliExpress. So one thing to note, okay, it's very easy, like I said, to import products, but the main things are the product quality and the and the shipping times. Things to note with DSs. Okay, the pros, obviously there's a massive product selection. Okay, very cheap prices and it's very easy to use. I would recommend this. I'm just going to talk about the recommendations now. I'd recommend it for beginner dropshippers just to test products only. The reason I say this is because the cons of this is that there's terrible shipping times. It's very hard to get anything that is no less than 15 days. Okay, there's no options to brand. You can get low quality products. Suppliers may not always be reliable. So when I was using Oberlo back when I had my first successful store in 2020, I was selling around, say, 15 to 20K a month in sales. I can't remember how many orders that was per week, but I'd definitely say it was sort of like around the 100 plus orders a week at that point. And when you're using AliExpress, it can be not as reliable. Okay, so in my course, yes, I teach how to use DSs, especially for beginners. It's quite easy to use and it's quite great to test products. But my piece of advice to you is that I would just use these to test products only and then move on to something else, okay? Because there's a large selection, you can sort of get your footing around, learning how to fulfill orders, look at suppliers, look at pricing, get everything sort of in touch with what you need to do, and then, move on to a different supplier. That's what I would recommend. Okay, so just because, not even just the low quality products, it's more so the shipping time, because especially after COVID, your customers are going to be in that mindset of, okay, they are going to expect shipping that is maybe around 15 days. I'd say 10 to 15 days would be the shipping period that is still okay, depending on what product you're selling. But anything that's like 15 to 20 to 30 days, sort of pushing a little bit. And that's when you start getting chargebacks and customer complaints and things like that. So that is one thing to note. Now, the last thing that I want to show you here, the last supplier is Alibaba. Okay, really great. I mean, look, I sold on Amazon myself. I've been teaching Amazon for like the last 4 years and last 4 to 5 years doing Amazon FBA and teaching Amazon FBA. And we always use Alibaba. And the reason for that is because we always talk about, especially in the Amazon FBA space, we talk about branding. We talk about building a connection with your supplier, building a relationship. Okay, so when it comes to Alibaba, these are mostly all Chinese suppliers, of course, and the price of each unit is quite cheap. And the reason for that is because usually people buy a bigger order quantity. Now, you can get dropshipping suppliers from Alibaba. You can get suppliers that will put the logo on your product and dropship this product for you. That usually takes around 15 to 20 days shipping. So I would say for Alibaba, this is great if you want to brand, and it's a great option if you want to brand, if you want super cheap prices, and if you want to store the products yourself, ship them out yourself, or if you want to go through a fulfillment company, a fulfillment center, and have someone else fulfill the orders for you. But very, very cheap prices, and the only thing to mention here, which we'll talk in the pros and cons, is just minimum order quantity, because the pricing is so low. So the pros for Alibaba, there's a massive product selection. I'd say it's just as big as AliExpress. Well, maybe not just as big, but it's pretty close. Okay, and the product quality, one thing I didn't mention here, product quality is high product quality. They've got a their product quality is, you can see the difference. Okay, if you get a sample sent to you from Alibaba, the product quality is just a lot higher. Just higher quality suppliers, in my opinion. There's cheap prices as well. You can also negotiate on price with your supplier if you wanted to. Now, I said fast shipping here, but I just mean in regards to if you're comparing it to AliExpress. Okay, even though it's 20 to 30 days, what I mean by fast shipping is there's sort of like a faster turnaround for branding. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of this because all in all, the shipping is quite slow. It's 20 to 30 days, which is why I recommend only doing this if you want to brand and you want to have inventory. Okay, so that's one thing to note with shipping. There's very diverse branding options available for Alibaba. It's very easy to build connections with your supplier as well, because you're in a supplier chat with them, that you're in the Alibaba chat with them. Their English is quite good as well. The only cons to mention is that obviously in regards to if you're trying to dropship, I wouldn't recommend dropshipping. I would recommend because the shipping can be like 20 to 30 days, okay, especially for branding, I'd recommend getting ordering inventory. Still 20 to 30 days, but you'll have the inventory there, okay, and you've got high quality product. A lot of suppliers require MOQ, which is minimum order quantity, especially if you want a brand. So with this one here, if you want a customized logo, again, this you may be able to negotiate, but if you want a customized logo on this product or on the packaging, you're going to have to at least order 100 units from them, okay? Otherwise, they won't do it. And they do that because a lot of the time it's sort of cheaper for them to do it that way. It sort of costs them too much if you were to just do one unit and then just brand it. Usually it's better for them, and it's better to do business if you say order 100 and do your logo, or even if it's on the packaging or something like that. There's also next to no options to integrate into your store. I don't really see many apps unless they've come out with one recently. I haven't seen any apps to integrate Alibaba orders. So if you want to drop ship through Alibaba without ordering inventory, then you're going to have to fulfill the orders yourself. That's what I had to do in 2020. I was fulfilling quite a few orders manually, and it was painstaking. It was so slow. So that's just one thing to note. Maybe you need to build out Excel spreadsheets or something like that, but that's one thing to note with the fulfilling and connecting to your store. Double handling is also required if you're not shipping directly from your supplier, but with prices like this, $2.40 a piece, okay, maybe you bring that up to $4 a piece, $5 a piece with shipping and branding, okay? But if you're selling these, say if you're selling these at about $20, $25, okay, you can see why that would work out. So even though there's double handling required, the price is very, very good. So I'd recommend Alibaba as a supplier for advanced dropshippers with a brand and need for inventory. Again, if you're fulfilling the orders yourself, or if you've got a third party fulfilling them for you, I'd recommend it only if you sort of have learnt the ropes and really, I guess, have a grasp on what you're doing, because this is where you get into actually branding the actual product. You can do this as a beginner, but just the ins and outs, I would recommend if you're brand new, you've never built a website or launched your own store before, start on something like DS's or even Zendrop, CJ Dropshipping. Start on something like that and then move over to the more advanced things where you're looking at branding, negotiating with suppliers and all that, because it's not hard, but it's just easier to focus on one thing at a time. So I'd recommend going through something like DS's first, just figuring out how to create a website, how to advertise, how to sell. Once you grasp what product you're selling, how to sell, how to start scaling, then you can look at things like, okay, I'm going to get branding on my actual product. I'm going to start doing, warehousing, inventory, things like that. So there's different levels to it. Each supplier you use, I would say it's easier to use a more simple method from a supplier, say something like DS's, and then again, go on to something like Alibaba way down the road if you need warehousing and things like that. But that is what I would recommend, okay? And coming into 2023, the reason I recommend these ones is because, again, it comes down to ease of use, it comes down to shipping time, it comes down to product quality, it comes down to branding options. When it comes into 2023, the only thing I can really give as a piece of advice is that whether you're doing dropshipping, any kind of e-com store where you're selling a product, whether it's digital, physical, branding is going to be the biggest asset to you, okay? So main thing I want to note with this is please just focus on a product that solves a problem, product quality, branding, okay, and selling a product with some kind of wow factor. And you need a supplier that's going to be, reputable, and a supplier that's actually going to help you out. So again, if you're first starting, maybe start off with DS's to test a product, start off with AliExpress to test a product, then start moving your way into higher quality suppliers and going from there. But I hope this helped you out. Good luck if you are starting dropshipping late 2022, early 2023. And remember, branding is king when it comes to this stuff. If you have any other questions, please let me know. And thank you for watching. If you watched this far, if you want to see any other videos, let me know. Sub to the channel if this video did help. I would really appreciate a like and a sub. It helps the channel out immensely. But apart from that, hope you're staying safe wherever you're watching, and I'll see you guys soon.